welcome to this conversation. And this is just a client experience, just to find out a little bit more about Cam's experience with level one coaching, how he's found things, and really just to get an understanding about how his experience has been and his progress so far. So Cam, if you could introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your career, your job, and your age, and we can take it from there.
Cheers, Ash. Thanks for having me on, firstly. Obviously, my name's Cameron. I'm 30 years old, just. Business owner. So I own a recruitment agency. Work from home at the moment. There's only 3 of us. And yeah, it's a bit about me.
Okay, so we've gone through quite a transformation and we've worked together for quite some time. So it'd be really interesting for the viewers to find out a little bit about where you came from a fitness perspective, where you were at originally, and how you felt, most importantly.
Yeah, man. So I think from the age of about 16, I have been going to the gym on and off. Never massively consistent. Good months, bad months, good weeks, bad weeks, good years, good 6 months, bad 6 months. So always been in and out of the gym since I was younger. Always been around sport, never been massively good at any sport, but always been around sport. And I guess the main reason why I needed some help was just purely based on consistency. Just sticking to a plan, making sure I'm in the gym a certain amount of times a week, steps, water, etc. That's the kind of reason I came to someone like yourself.
Okay. And what sort of problems were you facing on a day-to-day? More in terms of how you felt at the weight that you were at, and just in terms of shape-wise, just so people can get a real visual picture of how you looked and how you felt. And I'm sure I'll share some pictures on the screen as of now as well.
Yeah, I think, firstly, mentally is the most important, right? I was going around in circles with it, 3 times in the gym, going out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, waking up Monday, not wanting to exercise, not starting my week till Wednesday, getting 2 or 3 days in, and then on rinse and repeat basically for years and years and years. So mentally, I just felt very fatigued. I didn't feel massively motivated by the gym. Unfortunately, it was more just ticking a box. And then physically, when we started working together, I was probably the heaviest I'd ever been. We're not talking astronomical weight, but it was very noticeable in the mirror. For the viewer's point of view, it was all around my chest and sides. And it was the first time ever I had a double chin. And that's when I thought I need to take some action.
And what impact do you feel like that made on your day-to-day life and your personal and professional life?
Personal, I wouldn't say I was depressed about it, but I'd say I was at the point where I wasn't happy when I looked in the mirror. In terms of physically, that affects you then mentally, and then it's just a cycle of just wanting to be better.
Okay. And why do you feel like you reached out to me for help, as opposed to maybe trying this by yourself?
Yeah, firstly is how you looked physically. Obviously, you invest in yourself, so what you're doing for yourself is clearly working. I think the main thing for me was I just needed accountability. And it might sound ridiculous to some viewers. I needed to be paying for something. I had to invest in something financially that was going to reward me personally and physically. It was just a personal thing, and I just needed that more strategy around what I need to do on a basic level, because I was kind of going into the gym going, oh, I'll do this today, I'll do this. There was no plan behind it, so I just needed a fitness plan, and I just needed someone holding me accountable. They're the main reasons really why I reached out.
Solid. And what about from a diet perspective? Because training is obviously one side of things, but really nutrition is going to be about 80% of the results in the first place. So where were you at diet-wise, and how do you feel like this helped you in terms of optimizing your diet?
I mean, diet was, again, it was just very up and down. I'd be healthy in the week, and then from Thursday night to Sunday, I just wouldn't be keeping an eye on what I was eating. So I think the good thing about what you did for me was you didn't put me on a diet plan where it was because that wouldn't have worked for me personally.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to eat this meal at this time and this amount of calories of this. It was very much just, here's your calories today, here's your macros. You taught me how to properly actually track my food, which I'd never done. Because we were on a big cut then, it was just all about the calories in, calories out. So yeah, it definitely for me, it just had to be some form of plan for the food, but nothing too full on, because I then would have just gone the other way. If that makes sense.
No, very, very good answer. And for yourself, a lot of people, and the main reason why people hesitate to go forward with a coaching program or hesitate in their fitness journey in general is because for most of their life, they've probably been giving up on their journeys. They've been going for 4 months and then stopping, going for 2 months and then stopping, going for 6 months and then stopping. At any point in this journey, did you feel like giving up? And how did you feel like maybe coaching stopped you from giving up?
It's probably important for the viewers to know I had a tear in my shoulder halfway through our plan. And that was the only time really I felt like stopping. But you just adapted to my injury. We changed for about a month, we changed the whole plan. So we focused on different muscles. We focused on different workouts that would firstly heal my shoulder, but also keep losing the weight. But to be honest, no, it was easier than I thought it was going to be once I was in the cycle of it, because you focus on, you stop focusing on like missing out on a night out or missing out on a big meal, and start, when you see the results, it becomes quite addictive, and then you just don't want to stop.
What would you say was the biggest change that you've seen in yourself, either from a mental or physical perspective, that maybe you didn't expect?
I think the mental side was what I didn't expect. Physically, it was, obviously we lost 10 kgs on the plan in 12 weeks. So physically, my face looked slimmer, hopefully still does. And I lost the weight around the belly, which is what we planned to do. Mentally, just felt so much better. I always used to go, as I said at the start, I used to go to the gym because it was a tick box and I felt like I had to do it. Whereas now I go because I know how it's going to make me feel after. And I won't go out if I know I've got the gym in the morning, for example. So I think the mental side was what surprised me most, how fresh you feel on a more consistent basis.
And 10 kilograms down, what did your family think? What did your friends think? What was the general reaction?
General reaction was, we didn't think you were that big. So I think people, when I put the picture up that we obviously edited together, of the before and after, I don't think people remembered me being that big, but obviously I always remembered. I don't think no one notices it as much as you do. So yeah, people were surprised that I was that weight in the first place, and then were surprised that I'd lost that much weight. So I think surprised was probably the best word to describe it.
And what would you say was your favourite part about working with a coach?
I mean, you personally, or just a coach?
You can answer both.
I think working with a coach was just the consistency and accountability. That was the main reason I had to work with a coach. The reason I liked working with you is because it wasn't one size fits all. We had a briefing, and then you worked on a plan that you knew would work for me. Because you knew that you couldn't constantly pester me because it would annoy me. And then I just to be stubborn, I probably wouldn't do something to annoy you. So you kind of left me to my own devices, but then jumped in when you felt necessary. And as I said, you did what I needed rather than what you wanted me to do. Whereas I've had, and not to out other people, I've had coaches in the UK before where they create a plan around what they want you to do and how they want you to look. Whereas you just did it purely based on what I wanted.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you very much for the kind compliments. And what would you say to anyone who's out there thinking about starting with a coach, or even just starting their fitness journey in general? Because this is quite an emotive journey. Most people who've been overweight, they understand how it feels, they understand how uncomfortable it can make them feel. And going through that journey can be quite daunting, and it feels like a massive goal or something huge they have to achieve. So I guess it's a two-part question. What would you say to someone who's looking to just start their fitness journey in general and actually keep it consistent and sustainable? And two, what would you say to someone who's looking to start with a coach and he's thinking about it?
Yeah, looking to start your fitness journey, just do it. There basically is no negative. I can't see anyone ever in my life that's gone through a fitness journey or started going to the gym or started running, whatever kind of fitness you want to do, and has had a negative outcome. There is no negative outcome unless you become completely and utterly obsessed with it. But there's worse things to be obsessed with. So my advice to anyone trying to get into fitness is do it. You're guaranteed to feel better, look better. There's no negative. Using a coach, I'd advise absolutely anyone who's not gone to the gym before or not been into fitness 100%, because it will just put you on the right track. And then anyone who was like me as well, who has been to the gym on and off, but needs some consistency. And then also even people who go to the gym a lot, just having a soundboard, every couple of days to speak to about, what you've done well and what you could have done better in the gym, or your steps or your diet. It's just good to have, that sort of soundboard whilst going through that journey. So my advice is basically to anyone, do it.
Okay, wonderful. And what about the investment? Because it is an investment into yourself, and most people either haven't ever made an investment into themselves, or they're very hesitant to do so. So what would you say to someone who's maybe from a financial perspective hesitant to go forward? with investing into themselves?
I mean, there's so many things that you buy that you know you spend an awful amount of money on, that are investments in yourself, but in different ways that could be better used with a coach or the gym or whatever part of fitness you want it to be. But you'd spend loads of money on eating out because it makes you feel good. You spend loads of money on clothes because you look good. Why would you not combine the two and just, you know, spend it on yourself essentially, and mentally as well? You know, you can physically look great in new clothes and you can have a lovely meal that makes you feel good, but it's all in your head really. And that's why I needed a coach, because I needed to feel better mentally.
A lot of people make excuses for themselves, and I've heard everything from it's not the right time or I don't have the time, which is something they've made up in their own head. It's about priorities. We all have 24 hours in a day. Some people have less time than others, that's for sure. However, we can always utilize our time to still get results. Some people will say that they don't have the energy, or some people will say that they don't have the motivation, but it's something that they truly want and that would truly be beneficial for them. So what excuses did you personally make for yourself prior to coaching that maybe kept you from committing to your journey for a long period of time?
Pretty much everything you said. Time was a massive one, and that's why people should use a coach, because of all those excuses. That's what a coach helps you with. He helps you, or you help me work around that. So time was definitely one of them. Mm-hmm. Money was one of them. I'd always say, do I want to spend X amount on this, when, you know, it's an investment in yourself, so it's worth it. But they were the main two: time and money. And also, to be honest with you, mate, I didn't massively enjoy going to the gym.
Yeah, fair.
Was a big one. Like, I didn't want to do it. But you created a way for me to enjoy the gym. So now I look forward to it. Whereas and not every time, by the way, I'm not going to preach that every time I get up or I have a long day at work, I'm buzzing to get to the gym, because that's just not real life. But I know how you've made me know how it's going to make me feel afterwards. So yeah, they're just all excuses that I don't have anymore.
Solid. Well, thank you very much, Cam. Really appreciate you coming on. And for anyone who's interested in coaching, the best ways to message me are Asher the Coach on Instagram, or just type in Asher Kennedy on LinkedIn. Reach out to me. We can have a quick chat, see if this is a good fit for you, and hopefully we can welcome you on board. So thank you, Cam, for joining us. And
Always,
yeah, we'll pause it here.